Hello book besties and welcome back. My name is ℚ𝕝𝕤 if you are new here, and today, if you could not tell by the intro or by this little braid, we are tackling the Hunger Games series. I've never read the series when this was super popular, so I have the second and third books physical, and then the first book I will be listening to on audio. I'm excited to see what my thoughts are on this series because it's been out for like forever. I wonder how they compare to the movies. Okay, so I came in here really quick to give you an update because I am 50% into the Hunger Games audiobook, and I have some notes to keep me on track. I've definitely noticed that it is a lot more brutal than what was depicted in the movie, which obviously makes sense. You can't put everything into the movie. I did not know. They probably put this in the movie, but I'm not even 100% sure. So they created the Hunger Games as punishment for the uprising that happened like years ago, and to assure that it won't ever happen again. What I thought was also very interesting is that when you are 12, which is like the first time I guess you can legally be a part of the Hunger Games, you get your name entered in once, and then as you're 13 it's twice, and so on and so forth until you're 18, when your name gets put in 7 times, because it is your last year that I guess you can participate. When you win the Hunger Games, your faction, I don't know what it's called, but they get showered with like gifts and like just basic things that they just need. As of right now, Gale, I think is his name. Not a fan of Gale, but I think so far it is pretty accurate, which is crazy to me. And I'm gonna paint my nails and listen to it, and I will update you guys when I am done. Hello friends. So it's been a lot of days since I last checked in. I finished the Hunger Games and then I immediately went into Catching Fire, so we have a lot to talk about. First, with the Hunger Games, I really enjoyed that book. I gave it 5 stars. I think it is pretty accurate to the movies, which I think is crazy because I feel like a lot of times they try to make it as accurate to the books, but then it just like something gets lost in between. Peeta's leg ended up getting amputated. I don't remember that happening in the movies. I quite honestly don't really think it did happen in the movies. I gave the Hunger Games 5 stars immediately after I jumped into Catching Fire, and I am about 50% into the book. Definitely not giving me 5-star feelings. There is a lot that has happened in the first 50%. Senator Crane is dead. They end up going into the victor's village, like living in those houses because they did win. As soon as they're settling in, one day President Snow just shows up. He could already tell that her love that she was professing in the Hunger Games was so fake, just wanting to originally give them no winners. He's not up for that at all. So he ends up threatening her that she needs to stay in line or else there can be consequences. And one of that has to do with her professing her love with Peeta, because you can already tell that she still has feelings for Gale. And President Snow was like, He thinks that her professing her love to Peeta will stop future uprisings. So they end up saying that Gale is her cousin, which is so funny. Later on, she ends up being able to find out, based on what the people in the capital have or don't have in aspects of like food or like technology, you can kind of find out in what districts they are protesting. That is kind of where I'm at. I have been switching between the book and audio. It's just easier for me to listen to the audio and just get some housework done. I will update you guys whenever I finish. Hello friends. I apologize because this time I have literally been the worst at updating you guys. I have finished this book, started this book on audio. So yeah, let's talk about Catching Fire. After the 50% mark is kind of when it goes crazy. The victors from all the previous years get chosen to compete in this year's Hunger Games. I was not expecting that. It probably happened in the movie, but I cannot remember anything that happens in this movie. She then goes on to Caesar's show and has another The Girl on Fire moment. Originally shows up with a white wedding dress type of thing because they have kind of quickly moved that. She starts spinning and she notices smoke and just like ashes type thing just falling off her dress. And then when she stops, it is like this black feathery dress that looks like a Mockingjay. At the same show, Peeta drops some news that she is pregnant. She's actually not pregnant. I think that he did it to try and get her out of the games. What was actually shocking to me was that everyone, even like the biggest Capitol lovers in that room, were not happy, and they were literally like yelling because they know that she still has to compete. Like, there's no getting out of this. And I think President Snow knew that this was obviously not real, and I think Katniss already knows that President Snow after the show is literally going to have a fit. He's gonna do something that is just gonna prove to her that he knows, and that happens. Right before she goes up to the games, she's getting ready. All of a sudden, the peacekeepers barge into the room. This tragic thing happens with Senna, and I think at that moment she's having a oh my goodness type of moment. It's already not a good start. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I think it's good. It just hasn't been my favorite. I think a lot was happening in this book. It was like all over the place. Started Mockingjay. I am not that far in. I think I'm like 5% in, 10% in, something like that. You kind of start off with Katniss joining the Capitol Rebellion, and Peeta is kind of held hostage at the Capitol and is disagreeing with everything that Katniss has been saying and putting out into the world. I don't think that he is doing like this on purpose. I think the Capitol is just putting a lot of stuff into his brain. Where it ended is a little bit more action-packed because the Capitol started bombing certain districts, especially districts that they know where Katniss has been at recently, to kind of send a message. Very curious to see where this is gonna go and if this one's gonna be like the movies. You guys, I am a little disappointed. I have officially finished this book. It felt so slow paced. I felt like so much was happening, but then at the same time nothing was happening. This one is definitely not my favorite. I gave it 3 stars. I am glad that I have finally finished this series. I will say I think this book was very accurate to the movie. So maybe that's why, because I've already watched the movie. When I was listening to it, I could kind of picture exactly what moment in the movie I was at. I really enjoyed the series, and I definitely want to maybe tackle the Percy Jackson series next. If you have any series that you think I should tackle, please let me know in the comments down below. Besties, thank you so much for supporting my channel and watching this video. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Happy reading!